Hello everyone, this is Kelly from the Office of Immigration and Refugee Affairs, and welcome to the training module for ESL and Civics providers. At this point, you should have already watched the general overview for the Refugee Data Center. If you have not already watched that training module, please go back and view that one first, and then return to this one to learn more about ESL and Civics. Okay, so we've already logged into the RDC. And now we're going to enter a sample client. So first we'll click on this Clients tab up here at the top. And in the general overview, you should have already learned how to do the general intake for a new client. So we're going to start with a client who's already been enrolled in some other services, is already active in the RDC, and now we just want to enroll them in our ESL service or our Civics class. So let's look for this client. You can just search for them up here in this name field at the top, or you can search by social security number or by alien number. So yes, we do have a client already, Jamie Sedaris. It's already entered into the system. So as a quick reminder, you would, if this were a new client, you would fill out intake page 1 and save it. And at that point, intake page 2 would come up. And then you would enter intake page 2, click Save, and after you've done the intake, then the Services tab will show up here at the top. So we already have a Services tab for this client. I don't understand this message. That seems to be an error. So I will look into that. We can disregard that for now. But sometimes you'll get these little messages up here at the top to let you know if there's something that needs attention. Okay, so we are looking at this client. Already has some services in the RDC. He is already getting access, getting services elsewhere or at this agency. Just as a reminder, this will give you a summary of all services that the client is receiving, whether at your agency or somewhere else. If it's your agency, you'll be able to go in and edit and make changes. If it's a service that they're receiving at another agency, you'll just be able to view that, but you won't be able to make any changes. Okay, so we're looking to enroll this client in ESL classes. And you'll notice down here, there's already an ESL program for this client. But if you look closer, you'll note that it's under the Targeted Assistance Discretionary Grant. So you need to make sure you're looking in the correct grant first, and then look for your program. But at this time, we want to enroll the client in our Refugee Social Services ESL. Let's say this program has already ended, and this client still needs some help with ESL, so we're going to enroll them in our Refugee Social Services ESL program. So we should have a way to do that up here, but it is missing. So I'm going to go to another client, because that's very strange. Normally you would see the Add New Service up here at the top. I think this error message is causing the problem. So we're going to look for another client that we already have entered in here. And again, these are all sample clients. This is not real information. So we're going to look at Elva and see if she has ESL already. She does have ESL under RSS. So let's look at the other one. Sorry about this, everybody. Okay, so we do not have ESL here. So we're going to enroll this client in ESL services. So you're going to go over to the Add New Services drop-down menu up here, and again, you could have multiple grants at your agency and offer ESL under different grants. So you're going to want to make sure you're enrolling in the correct program. So you'll see that on the left side it gives the name of the grant, and then you'll find the service. So we're looking for RSS, English as a Second Language. So we're going to click on that one and click on Add New Service. And then here you'll see that it showed up down here. So now we're going to click on the little light bulb to go into the service and add more information. So first you have to enter the case manager. You'll see there's a little red asterisk. That's a reminder that that's a required field. We have to enter the service start date. So we'll just, for training purposes, say that this client started back in February 3rd. And then we're going to click on Save, and that will bring up the next field that we need to enter. So now at this point, we want to select which class the client is enrolled in. And normally here you would see a list of classes available at your agency. And it'll show all of them that are available. But it's empty at this moment because we have not gone back to the administrative side of things and set up all of the classes at your agency. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you'll see the admin tab up here at the top. So you'll click on admin, and that's where you do all the background work to get everything set up for your agency. And then you'll see this row up here, different things that you can set up. You can set up employers. That's for the job placement program. But we're looking at classes. We want to set up classes. So we're going to add a new class. And we will call this one, let's say, beginner level. Okay, and then you have to assign it to the grant again, because it could be any number of grants or programs that you have at your agency. So we're looking for ESL. And again, there's 3 different ones, but we want the RSS one. And the rest of these, start date is not optional. So we'll say that one started back in January. The client's going to enter in a little bit late. And we don't need to put an end date, so we're going to leave that open-ended. We'll just do the required fields for now. Okay, so we have a beginner level. Let's add another class. Let's say we have intermediate level ESL class. Again, that's RSS ESL. And those both started around the same time, so we'll say that one started back in January as well. Okay, so you'll keep doing that and add all of the classes that are available at your agency. So those will be available then on the client service screen when you need to enroll clients. So now we're going to go back to the Clients tab and finish what we were doing with Elva Morales. So it takes us back to our ESL screen. Up here you'll see ESL, just to confirm that you're in the correct program, and it gives a little summary of who the client is, their name, their A number, and all that. And also you'll see the start date for their eligibility, which is usually their date of arrival or date of asylum granted, and then maximum service date. So as you know, for refugee social service programs, there's a 5-year eligibility period. So that will show, that'll auto-populate here for you to let you know that the client cannot receive services after this date. Okay, so let's enroll this client in beginner level ESL. Okay, we're going to say she started the class on February 3rd. Say the date she did the pretest was earlier than the date she started class. So say she did that the Friday before, and her pretest score was 230. And so when you type in their score, you'll notice that this auto-populates over here. And it has levels 0 through 7. And you'll see throughout the RDC these little help buttons, the little blue button with a question mark. You can click on that at any time to get more information about what we're looking for in that field, or definitions of acronyms, those types of things. So here it tells you what the different levels are and their scores on the pretest. Okay, so we're going to click Save. So at that point, then it brings up this next level down here. So, the class goes on for a couple months. Now client's finished. You would go in and enter the date that she completed the class, the date she took the post-test, what her score was, and again, that will auto-populate here. If she completed the course, yes or no, how many hours she attended. Or if the client didn't complete the course, you would put the date here, date last attended. So let's say she didn't finish the class. So the last date, she just went for a few weeks. She stopped going in March. If she doesn't complete the class, we want to know why she dropped. And this drop-down menu is going to be a little bit different when you log in. But let's say that she moved away. So you put the date that she moved and the date that she dropped the class. It's going to be the same date that she stopped attending. She didn't give you notice that she was leaving. She just moved away and you're not able to find her. So that's pretty much it. At that point, if you're unable to locate the client, you're going to want to go ahead and close them out of the service. So you also need to put a close date back up here, service close date. So here you're closing basically the class. This is letting us know that the class ended, but since the client moved away, there's no possibility that she's going to enroll in any other types of classes at your agency. So you're just going to go ahead and close the service. If it were a different circumstance where the client finished this level and is now ready to go on to the next level, you would leave the service open and go ahead and add a new class here. And you can just click on Add New Class, and it will bring up. And so here you'll see one of two. So now there's two classes in here. So we're going to put intermediate level, date enrolled, let's say started back in April, pretest date, so the day before. This time she got a 331. That brings her up to level 1, pre-level 1. So you add that class, right? Okay, so now you can toggle. Oh, I forgot to save it. You have to click on Save. Let's see if it's still there. 1 of 2. No, I only have 1 of 1 because I forgot to click on the Save button down at the bottom when I entered that second class. So please remember to always click on that Save button down here. So again, you would do Add New Class. She's in the intermediate level, started in April, took the pre-test in April as well. The day before she started the class, she got a 331, which puts her in pre-level 1. Okay, now we want to hit Save. Okay, so now we have 2 classes, and we can go back and forth between those 2 classes to see what's going on. So we're going to go, oh, we're in class 1 of 2. I want to see class 2 of 2. Okay, so it's going to show you the most recent class first. So the first class she was in was beginner level 1, and if we want more information about intermediate level 2, we got to go back to that one using these arrow buttons. Okay, so again, she finishes this time she finishes the class. It was just a really intensive class for a couple of weeks. Takes the post-test on April 30th. Gets a 400. She's really doing great. And she completed the course this time, yes. And number of hours attended, let's see, she did 40. Okay, so now we're done. So you can update that to keep that information. Always either click on Save or Update down here to save your information. Okay, so now she's done. She doesn't have any plans to take any more classes, so we're going to go ahead and close her out today. And click on Update. And that is it. One other thing you'll need to know for the ESL program. So when we want to go back to the list of services for this client, you click on this link back to Client Services over here. And you'll see over here there's a tab, again, for another tab after services called Support Services. So any support services that you provided for this client while she was attending ESL, you need to log those over here on the Support Services tab. Okay, so it does not give me an option. I don't know why. Okay, well, for training purposes, this is clearly a glitch. And if you ever encounter these, please feel free to contact us here at OIRA. We'll get that figured out. I'm going to go to a different client just for the purposes of showing you how this Support Services tab is supposed to work. Let's see if it works over here. So we're going to add new support service. Okay, so now it's working. So you would click on the class, English as a Second Language for RSS, or that's the service, I'm sorry. What type of support service did we add? We provided child care during classes for this client. You know, and that's kind of a long ongoing thing. You would just enter that one time, maybe the first time that you did it. I can't remember when we started the class. It was in April. So we'll say we offered it the first day of class, and you know, it's going to continue on, but you can just log it once. We just need to know about it that one time. So we're going to click Create. And maybe we also provided transportation to and from class, so we're going to enter that as well. We're going to put transportation, log the date that that occurred for the first time. Even if it occurs multiple times, you only have to enter it once. We're going to hit Create to save that. Okay, so now the support services are saved for this client as well. So that is pretty much it. That's all you need to know for ESL. Civics is going to be very similar. So we're going to go back to Services and enroll this client in Civics instruction. Looks like she's already enrolled. I have to go back to our other Elva Morales, and I apologize for the confusion here. Normally you would just enter one client and wouldn't need to be going back and forth between multiple clients, but for training purposes we've entered several sample cases, and I'm going to be using them interchangeably here, but So this client, okay, so we do not have civics here, so we're going to add the civics class. And again, we want to make sure that we choose the correct grant that that's under. So RSS Civics. We'll click on Add New. And now it shows up over here. We're going to click on the arrow to go in. We have to assign a case manager. And we're going to click on the service start date. Let's say the class started back in April as well. Click on Save, and that brings up the next set of services. And you can see it's very similar to the ESL screen. A lot of the education, the classroom-based activities have the same type of screen. So once you've learned to use one, you'll be able to use all of them. You're going to enter which class it is, when they enrolled, the pre-test date, and their score. And then once they're finished, it'll bring up the post-test information down here, and you can enter that. So it's basically the same thing, so I'm not going to go through that again. And again, for civics, you would want to enroll in the support service, or indicate any support services that you provided for the client as well. So we need that for our federal reporting purposes. So that is the overview for ESL and civics. Again, please feel free to contact any of us here at OIRA if you ever have any questions, and we will be happy to assist you. Thank you.